When does Christianity ever promote or advocate the repression or suppression of the instincts, as most critiques and critics of the tradition and religion such as Nietzsche negatively claim? Nietzsche, for example, often claims that Christianity breeds weakness and creates weak people because it represses the instincts, but really what examples of repression is he actually talking about on a biblical and Christian level? He says in the Antichrist, Christianity has taken the part of all the weak, the low, the botched. It has made an ideal out of antagonism to all the self-preservative instincts of sound life. It has corrupted even the faculties of those natures that are intellectually most vigorous by representing the highest intellectual values as sinful, as misleading, and as full of temptation. Now, if Nietzsche actually understood Christianity at its core, which he doesn't, because most of his critiques are a broad stroke of logical fallacies with regards to Catholicism and the downfalls of Catholicism. And then he, of course, disregards everything else in relation to Christianity and the cross-cultural traditions that are found within the different denominations and the values and the traditions of that. He doesn't include any of that. But if he actually understood it at its core, he'd be able to identify that Christianity teaches ultimately that you should not fall prey to bodily instincts of the flesh in of themselves. Because any use of energy that excludes reason and forethought is a waste of energy, and leads to self-disregard, and makes action itself pointless, purposeless, and meaningless, really. In other words, action becomes sinful because of this, as it lacks reason, reflection, retrospection, purpose, and degrades our distinction and what makes us different from that of the animal. And therefore action that is based upon instinctive reactivity, as most of these Crowleyan fanboys usually go on about as do what thou wilt, love under will, all this type of rubbish, which is mere animalism, alone leads to sin because it breeds sin into the world where humans have been gifted by God with the ability to use reason, with the ability to turn the instinctive into the reflective, in which you are disregarding by doing this. Okay? It's no different from pissing in the wind in relation to all of these types of things. Therefore, Christianity preaches that you should instead always transmute and sublimate the energy of the instincts into and towards something much more proactive, affirmative, reflective, purposeful, and meaningful for your life. Ultimately, towards that which worships God and the logos of creation in which he has made. Doing so will bring true meaning into your life and the fruits of the Spirit, such as the Apostle Paul goes on about, such as love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. The sublimation of the instincts is present throughout Christian culture, as we can see if we actually look into this properly, because it makes up the culture of Christianity, which is also what has made up the sacred traditional values and art of Western society itself, in which we revere so dearly today. Sublimation of the instincts can be found within the practices of Christian monasticism, for example. This is the ability and the focus to transmute energy into becoming a hermit by following a structured, ascetic pursuit of Christian life. This would involve the classic spiritual practices of returning to God through disciplines of silence, chastity, prayer, fasting, confession, good works, obedience, and vigils. This transmutation of energy, redirected towards the pursuit of theosis, this is what this is, the pursuit of theosis, for the individual, deification, or what the Catholics also called divinization, which in the Orthodox tradition refers to the spiritual process and practice of being made God, through the act of seeking union with God through theosis. Now, this energetic redirection is not repressive or suppressive in any way, shape, or form. It has created much of art, much of culture, much of introspective thinking in relation to theology, as to what it means to be human, what it means to be existing in this world. It's not repressive or suppressive in any way or shape or form, as Nietzsche and the likes would believe fundamentally. We can continue this stream of thought towards the question of what did the Desert Fathers of Christian asceticism do? What did Christian mystics do through their extreme intellectual endeavours of reaching enlightenment with God? What do two individuals who follow Christianity do when they become married? You know, when they enter into the harmony of matrimony, which is strictly Christian tradition, converting their energies of attraction towards and into matrimony through the sacrament of marriage and becoming one unified body with Christ, to produce a family and create something beautiful beyond words in which you cannot describe. You know, and of course, even if we look at something like Knights Templar, another big cultural significant phenomenon within Christianity, what did they do on a fundamental level? They were also sublimating the energies of physicality and strength into the physical protection of others by guarding pilgrims with protection that would travel to Jerusalem, protection from thieves, robbers and criminals who would want to rob and kill those to gain possessions and do whatever they wanted to these pilgrims. And of course they would then reinvest the finances of that into building projects around Europe to support Christian faith and tradition. This is all largely what makes up the cultural traditions of Christianity, and none of it is a sign of weakness or repression of human instincts, but a turning of instinctual energy into something beyond the self-centered ego of mere human accomplishment, beyond materialism, and something into collective accomplishment, something into the adornment of a collective sacred purpose, which is ultimately always striving towards God, and unification with God, and harmony with God. So the psychological description of sublimation is to consciously channel impulsive instincts into positive and constructive actions and outcomes, which is to also naturally insinuate that on first principle the enacting of these instincts by themselves leads to wasted energy anyway. So I don't believe sublimation is to be a fundamental defense mechanism, as a lot of these, mostly atheistic of course, psychoanalysts would have you believe. And, you know, what are we defending that is so precious through defense psychologically with the instincts? Sublimation is much more of a proactive choice of redirecting energies into behaviors that guide towards a higher potential and morality than simply a labeled description of a defensive psychological mechanism. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, make sure to give it a like. Tell me your thoughts down in the comments below. This is my opinion and conversation on Christianity and the energetic transmutation of the instincts. So tell me what your thoughts are down below with regards to all of this. And of course, if you're interested in any form of coaching, one-on-one anti-procrastination coaching with regards to working against procrastination in and of itself, with things to do with breaking bad habit formations, developing good psychological techniques to build upon and create good new habits, and things of that nature, and you seem to be struggling with regards to that in any way, shape or form, on a social, financial or even career level, you can check out the link in the description to book in a free one-on-one call with me, totally free, where we can talk to see if we can work together and bring about anything that will be productive for you. And of course, if you want to see references and reviews of the people I've worked with and clients I've worked with in the past, you can also check that out on the website as well. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll speak to you in the next one.